So the mayor of St. Louis, Tishaura Jones, went on 64 trips in just 3.5 years in office. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the mayor of St. Louis, Missouri, Tishaura Jones, going on 64 trips in just 3.5 years. Now, the $1 million question I have is, why do you need to go on so many trips? What is really out there for the mayor of St. Louis to be doing that has her missing 12% of her time in office? 12% of her time in office was spent on trips. Why? And some are going to say, well, look, ABL, you're a mayor of a big city. You're the mayor of a city and you got to go do things, right? You got to be on the road. You got to travel. Well, sometimes you do travel. There's conferences and things. I understand. You might want to go try to get some money from somewhere, go get a grant. Okay, cool. But see, the previous mayor only traveled an average of 4 times a year. So let's do a little bit of quick math. Let's say over a 4-year term, 4 times a year, that's 16 times total compared to 64 in a shorter amount of time. So you're talking about 4 times as much travel. Why? Also, Ms. Jones has a pattern of this kind of behavior, the traveling, and it's kind of sketchy, and who's paying for it, where's money coming from. She was doing that when she was a treasurer in St. Louis, and it appears that behavior has continued as mayor. Now, here's my thing. Before we get to any videos, elephant in the room, why must it be our black women who get into power and then go party hard, live the Instagram lifestyle, party girl lifestyle, the year 2002 video girl, Melissa Ford lifestyle? Why did they got to do that? For what? And I have nothing against people traveling, having a good time, but try not using the taxpayer money. Try not traveling so much when you have responsibilities to take care of as a mayor who's also the city manager. Okay. Like, let's focus on what needs to be focused on. Tiffany Henyard, if you were traveling, going to Atlanta, having a good time on your own dime, I wouldn't even care. But what you're doing is looting the coffers of the town, and the town is not getting the services they need. Same thing, St. Louis. I mean, who wants to go to St. Louis for a vacation? If you live out there, shout out to you. But what's new, what's innovative, what's really cracking with St. Louis that would warrant you to travel that much? I don't know. But first things first, this is pretty ironic because the St. Louis personnel director might get fired for maybe some kind of improper expenditures. You're going to see this, and then I'm going to keep going, and it's all going to tie together. Let's start here. Then we're going to keep on rocking. And, of course, all videos will be in the box. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
News tonight, a fiery hearing today regarding whether the St. Louis director of personnel should keep her job.
Sonia Jenkins Gray is the person responsible for hiring and firing in the city of St. Louis. And
now I want you to take a mental note of this jacket. Take a mental note of this jacket. We're going to come back to it later.
Now, the mayor's office wants to fire her, claiming she broke city policies. Chief investigator.
So Ms. Tishaura missed 64 times traveling in 3.5 years, wants to fire this woman right here.
Reporter Lauren Traeger captured the fireworks today. She joins us tonight downtown.
Well, most city employees' disciplinary proceedings would never be public, but in the city of St. Louis, there is one exception, and that is for the director of the Department of Personnel. And that is why we got a front row seat here at the courthouse to this disciplinary proceeding against her. It's not a real trial per se, but it is leading some people to calling what's happening here a kangaroo court, at times devolving into shouting between Sonia Jenkins Gray's attorney and the people who might ultimately be deciding her fate.
No, Mr. Norwood, you can't speak out on behalf of these hardworking civil servants. No! The heck with the civil servants.
It is almost like a trial, with the director herself being the first person sworn in to testify. But she admits that on July 3rd last year, she asked a city employee to reserve her a city car so he could drive her to Jefferson City on a personal matter. She says she was not aware that is against city policy. But the mayor's office claims she should be fired for that, especially because it was a work day and she took that other employee with her when she is supposed to be the example for all employees in the city. In court,
it seems kind of petty. I ain't gonna lie to you. It seems a little bit petty, but once you hear about what the mayor's got going on, then that kind of make sense. I understand there could be an offense. Maybe you get written up, but fire, I don't know.
She admitted she went there to retrieve something from the car of her husband, Reverend Daryl Gray, that he had driven to Jefferson City earlier in the day. But as to what she retrieved and what happened after that, the hearing officers would not allow testimony about it.
Okay, so there might be more to this story, but I'll leave that right there. We got to come back because we still got to get to the big ticket item here. We got to get to the mayor, the big boss, the big guy. But first, a word from our sponsor. Online data brokers sell your information to scammers, hackers, and anyone who wants to use that information against you. This includes your full name, email address, home address, health records, your family members' information. Is all out there for sale. I mean, look at what they found about me. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers sell my information, and they automatically submit opt-out requests on my behalf. Now, to clean all that up, not only helps me reduce spam, but it protects me from hackers who may want to access my bank accounts, my social media accounts, or maybe even the inside of my home. Now, I learned that the hard way back when I got swatted. It's 2019, I'm streaming as normal, and before I know it, I have not one, not two, but 6 cops at my back door, guns drawn. They tell us, get outside, get on the ground, but they come back very apologetic. I'm sorry, Mr. Logan, we got an anonymous tip that somebody was in your house, tied up and bleeding, and we had to come check it out. Now, this was, of course, a false complaint, and I'm willing to bet whoever filed that false complaint purchased my data from an online data broker. If your data was in the breach, simply activate Aura and eliminate your worry, because Aura is always on in the background, keeping you safe. I value my privacy and I value yours. Visit aura.com/Anthony Logan through the link in the description to start your free 2-week trial today. And we're back. Now, this video is about the mayor, from what's happening right now, and also what happened back in 2017 when there was an investigation about her spending a bunch of money as the treasurer before she became the mayor. So let's roll this.
Reporting shows St. Louis's mayor has been jet-setting throughout her term. Public records revealing the mayor took 64 trips in the last 3.5 years in office. This story broken by the St. Louis Business Journal, and reporter Jacob Kern is here joining us today to talk all about it. Jacob, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah, we'll bring our viewers right up to speed, get right into some of the facts here. Take a look at this. You requested the mayor's travel reports and her work calendar. Those records show she had taken these 64 trips since taking office back in April of 2021. In total, she was away from St. Louis for 163 days. You do the math, you find out that's about 12% of her total time in office.
Those are some crazy numbers. And again, the previous person averaged 4 trips a year. So even on a 4-year term complete, that's 16 compared to 64.
Now let's look at some of the trips she went on. In 2021, a trip to Dallas, meeting with Southwest Airlines CEO. 2022 to Washington, D.C., the African American Mayors Association Conference. Also that year, going to Las Vegas to meet with the International Council of Shopping Centers. And then the next year in New York, the Urban League Summit. She also took trips to Puerto Rico, Montreal, and Mexico City. So Jacob, in the last 3.5 years, to the general public, this might seem like a lot of travel.
Yeah, and I think that for people who have had experience in the mayor's office, it seems like a lot of travel as well, because Lyda Krewson took a little more than 4 trips a year. Francis Slade, the top officials who were with him, they said it was even less. Freeman Bosley served in the 90s. He said he tried to leave St. Louis as infrequently as he could because the office, it really depends on doing the operational work of the city. And there are a lot of departments that depend on the mayor. One thing to remember is that unlike in Kansas City or some of our peer towns, we don't have a city manager. So the mayor is the operational chief of the government.
So a pretty big difference from administration to administration. Now, Mayor Tishaura Jones declined to do an interview with you, but she did take to social media defending the travel. Let's take a listen.
Oh boy, here we go. What are we going to hear from her?
It's important to me that our city has a seat at the table on a national.
Wait just one doggone minute. Wait just one doggone minute. Remember that jacket? Remember the jacket? Let's go back, shall we? Because I don't think y'all remember that jacket. Hold on, not here, but right there. Remember that jacket? Now that is the city personnel director, and Miss Tishaura, who has on the exact same jacket, is saying, hey, I need you to get up out of here. How much you wouldn't bet they went to Vegas or one of these girls trips and got the same jacket at the same time? How much you wouldn't bet? How much you wouldn't bet? Give me my jacket back. You fired right. And I'm aware on TV. That's crazy. That is crazy.
It's important to me that our city has a seat at the table on a national level when there are opportunities for things like federal funding. My leadership positions in the U.S. Conference of Mayors, the African American Mayors Association, Mayors Against Illegal Guns, East-West Gateway, and the National League of Cities are instrumental in bringing resources to our city.
Okay, so you said that you were traveling to go get money, but you went on 64 trips. So what are we talking about exactly? All of those trips were for fundraising for St. Louis? I doubt it.
The mayor also did a bit of traveling when she was treasurer before she was even mayor, some of which we reported on. This is from a First Alert 4 Investigates piece back in 2017. Take a listen.
The streets of Paris, the White House, even the Vegas Strip. Just some of the many places.
So look, hold on. I already knew, hey, I'm going to kind of rewind. I saw something. Maybe you saw it as well. But I'm going to rewind. And one of the cities that's up here, I already knew was going to be right there. I already knew. And before I rewind, take a while, guess what it is. All right, let's go back a little bit. Oh, look at that. STL to Atlanta. Meeting with IFS. I don't know what that is. ATL, DC, LA, Vegas, San Francisco, New York City, China. What is the city treasurer doing with all this kind of travel? Look, okay, you traveling in this month, traveling in that month. You traveling quite a bit. You traveling, 3 times in the month? ATL, LA, Vegas. You doing more traveling than working, ain't you? Now, I'm going to link to this in the box just for time's sake. I ain't going to play the rest of that, but you can kind of see it was the same thing going on in 2017, another investigation. Okay, she's traveling all over the place, jet setting. For what reason as a treasurer? Now, as a mayor, doing the same thing. That's her lifestyle. She likes to party. Probably like to get drunk and everything else. But as I close, I want to say this. My black people, please stop being addicted to the nightlife and the party scene and traveling. It's fun to travel and do things occasionally, but good grief. I mean, you're traveling every other week. Well, every week, basically, for no reason other than to do it. Do things like that sparingly. Okay, it's all right to go to a party, have a good time, hang out, but you can do that every day? When do you work? When do you do other things aside from that? Yeah, please let's relinquish our addiction to that and move forward in our life and make some true progression. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Tashara Jones in St. Louis, Missouri? Are you a resident of the area? Have you seen other mayors before her? Do you remember her as a treasurer of the city? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think that we got to get our women off of the traveling addiction, the shopping addiction, the spending addiction to things that don't make a difference, addiction to things that won't do anything to progress any of us forward. We got to stop this, especially when there's potentially taxpayer monies involved. There's potentially a little bit of quid pro quo involved. We got to stop. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.